24 minutes after the hour. Thank you for joining us at the Power Hour today. This is Joyce Riley. My guest is Bob Chapman, the executive editor of the International Forecaster newsletter. And to get a copy of it, you can call 877-479-8178. And I don't know if Ted Anderson still has the good deal going or not, but if you if you invest in certain items with Midas, you also get a year's subscription. So you might want to think about that, a year's subscription to the newsletter. What a deal. What a deal. We're talking with Bob Chapman about the financial mess that we are in right now. Now, it seems that everything is going a whole lot better because, look at Wall Street. It's doing great. So where do we stand here now with Wall Street, the Dow, everything is great now, and, of course, we got the problem with Goldman. We'll talk about that in just a second. But where are we?
Well, I saw a report this morning. They said the market was the most underpriced since 1930. And if you believe that, you believe in the tooth fairy as well. Mm-hmm. And all they do is lie. I mean, there's not anything that comes out of their mouth that isn't a lie. And no, there is no recovery. What they did is pour about $2.5–3 trillion into the economy over the last year, straight up. And it has brought the economy to a flat line, we'll call it. It can't get any better unless they pour in another 2 or 3 trillion. On the other hand, they got to raise the money to do that. Either that, they have to monetize, which is the Federal Reserve creating money out of nothing and essentially giving it to the Treasury Department. And so if they don't come up quickly with another program of some kind to inject that kind of money in the economy, it's not going to stay where it's at. It's going to go down, and go down quickly and deeply. Now, the stimulus is over. It's all spent. And so from here on out, they've got to do something. And I don't know whether they will or not. If I had to guess, I'd say probably they will. But the point is, there's no recovery, and it can't be a recovery. And when you see this consolidation of power in banking, in the brokerage industry, in insurance, transnational conglomerates, if you have a new details, which I do, of this reform bill for re-regulation of the financial markets, you wouldn't believe what's in there. I've been writing about it this weekend. It's just incredible. And it's creating a monopolistic financial giant, which is run by a bunch of bankers throughout America and Europe. I mean, what kind of a thing is that? Mm-hmm. It's not even our own government. And, of course, they know everything that's going on ahead of time, they and their friends in the Illuminati, and they take advantage of that and steal from the American people.
Well, are they going to? Do you think they're going to continue to inflate and inflate? We know, it's like we've all been robbed. We have been robbed horribly, and everybody's going, oh, well, but, that's different. No, we've been robbed. Our money has been robbed, and they continue to do it every single day. And until the American people say, not no, but heck no, that it's going to continue, and they're going to take the next 20% tax increase and the next 20% tax increase. But what do you think is going to happen with the stock market? Are they going to continue to inflate it, and then it's going to go back down to, it's like the S&P went down to 750, or where are we going to go?
Well, eventually it'll go down. When? I just don't know, because they have been manipulating for the last 2.5 years. They brought the Dow back from 6550, and incidentally, we predicted 6600, so we were pretty close on the downside. Wow. I think normality would have brought the market back to 8500 on a bounce, which is normal. And then I didn't have any idea they were going to have these TARP programs and all these others, and they were going to shovel out $20 or $30 trillion. And that's in part of what has taken the stock market up. And will it stay where it's at? For a while, yes. For how long? I don't know. It'll eventually go down. And the reason why is they can't resuscitate the economy. If people save, they don't spend. They need them to spend in order for the economy to recover. They keep zero interest rates, which means retirees can't spend.
Whoa, we got a bad connection there. We'll be right back. 29 minutes after the hour, Bob Chapman's the guest, Joyce Riley, the host. Stay tuned to the Power Hour. Bob, I want to take some phone calls here, so I'm going to open up the phone lines, 800-259-9231. I know I'm throwing a lot of numbers at you all, 800-259-9231. But I'd like to go to the subject of Goldman. The stock market, you say, is, it's up and it looks good. It's going to crash eventually. It has to. We know that because there's no jobs in this country. But where do we stand on gold and silver before we move into the Goldman Sachs emails?
Well, I think after this week, gold's going to start moving. Gold and silver are going to start moving up again. In fact, they are acting very well under the oppressive circumstances created by government who are in the markets trying to suppress them all the time. And they're not selling gold anymore. They're using derivatives. And they only can do that for 2 or 3 days at a time. And the reality of the marketplace that comes to the forefront, or the cash gold delivery market in London takes precedence. And what happens is there's not enough physical gold available, so it pushes the market back up again. And so we're going to see higher gold and silver prices. I think shortly we could see 1220 broken again for the first time, actually, and go to 1350 or 1500 or 1550, somewhere up in there. And so I see higher prices. I think the stock market is struggling, and I think it'll be down before the year is out. How precipitously, I don't know at that time, but I know it's going down. And I think you're going to continue to see all these bank failures. As far as Goldman's concerned, there's 3 reasons I think that this thing went down. Number one, Goldman's getting sued civilly by a number of entities that bought bonds which they sold them. These bonds were CDOs, collateralized debt obligations, which had mortgages within the bonds. There's lawsuits been filed against the rating companies, which is S&P, Moody's, and Fitch. Same reason, mislabeling or lying about the value of the bonds. And they knew that was going to happen anyway, so they said, look, let's do this. Let's have the SEC bring a civil charge against us. This way we won't get charged criminally, which we should be.
Whoa.
And this is, sort of a facade to hide what has really been going on. And so they'll be found guilty later on, maybe 6 months or a year, and they'll get fined $1 billion or something, and the shareholders will pay for it. And they'll go back to doing the same thing the next day that they did the day before. Nothing is going to change. And so the president will really look good. You say, oh, look, I cleaned up this mess at Goldman Sachs, but he won't tell the public that he received almost $1 million in campaign contributions from them, among all the other banks and brokerage firms that contributed to his campaign. So for he and the Democrats, it's going to look favorably. Number 3, it's also noise to keep everybody looking in the direction of Goldman. Well, they're ramming through this financial reform package, and that's what this whole thing's all about.
So, let's go back to the emails that they allegedly just distributed from 2007. These emails and the internal documents that they released. It seems like they're trying to set the stage for a whole lot of good cop, bad cop. It seems to me. I mean, what do we know about the story that's really true? I mean, the whole idea behind having the civil charge versus the criminal charge, were they doing things that were illegal that should be filed, criminal charges should be filed against them?
Absolutely. And the only way that can happen is if the Justice Department files against them, that's never going to happen. I mean, it's all political, or at least it's political within the sphere. And so that's not going to happen. And so they're going to go on doing what they did before, stealing from everybody. I mean, we haven't even talked about naked shorting. That's betting when a stock is going to go down and not having the collateralized shares lent to you by somebody else. It's rampant. And the SEC does nothing. And second of all, these firms, particularly Goldman, has been front-running investors in the market, costing them hundreds of billions of dollars a year. They've been cheating everybody.